Good evening. Welcome to the Speak Life podcast. I am your host, Sharice C. And tonight we are going to be talking to Reverend Glenn Davis. Now, Reverend Davis is a man of God who I've known for quite some time. He's been a comedian. He's been an actor. He's been a community activist, and he's done all kinds of things. Bodyguarded for celebrities. But he made a transition and a choice to serve God in a whole new light. So without further ado, we're going to speak with Reverend Davis. Hello, good evening, Reverend Davis.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you? Welcome to the Speak Life podcast. I was telling
Thank you for having me.
Wonderful. I was telling our audience a little bit about you. So why don't you start and lead us into, and you've done so much, and I just want to talk about, what led you to where you are now and the things that you've done.
Well, first I'm going to definitely have to give credit for my grandmother because she, constantly prayed for me, and it was watching her when I grew up to see a strong Black independent woman, and then like I said, I got a chance to meet some great mentors, Ron Karenga, Elijah Muhammad, Imam Baraka, and North. When I did security for him along with Mayor Gibson. So there were a lot of strong characters, and like I said, but the backbone of where I got my balance was my grandmother's religious foundation.
Uh-huh.
And then, I got to the point where I was doing bodyguard work, and I got a chance to meet like these ADs, associate directors of different movies and whatnot, because New York's a hotbed for like at that time, New York Undercover, and all those shows were shot live in New York. So when they came to the club,
right.
Like I said, so that's what got me into the acting bug. And then, no matter what I pursued, whether it was bodyguard, whether it was getting in films, whether it was doing comedy, there was still something empty in my life. And then the crowning moment in my life was 9/11, and I was working at World Trade Center, and my son was supposed to go into work the week before, and he overslept. And a friend of mine named Muhammad Jawari, one of the people who died at World Trade Center, was the one who was giving my son an opportunity to work there during the day. Well, I got on my son real hard, and one of the few times I was glad he didn't listen because he overslept on 9/11.
Wow.
Something just came over me just watching the buildings go down, and I was reflecting on stuff. I remember some of the things my grandmother said, and the things about, her strength came through Jesus Christ no matter what. She always depended on Jesus Christ no matter what, because she did domestic housework, and that was basically the only place she got money from. But at the same time, we were able to always have stuff on the table.
Right.
So once I started following what the Lord wanted me to do, things just opened up for me. And believe it or not, I prayed for a wife, and believe it or not, my wife prayed for a husband, and we met online, and we have been talking for about 2 years, and nothing really serious. And then, like I said, I left Jersey, moved to Texas, and within a year, I became a minister.
Wow.
And then after that, like I said, I started studying, reading the Bible, and I did a lot of research on my own, and I had a lot of good mentors down here. But it was Dr. Wright from California who, at one point, was a minister with Fred Price and stuff like that. So he basically got me into Hebrew, Greek, and things of that nature. And a lot of young men that are in prison because they don't have father figures.
Right.
You have a lot of people that are homeless in the street, people that are broken and given up on. And we know that God is good with broken people.
Right.
God is, can take our brokenness and fix it up, or, take our message and turn it into a message.
Right. So what was it like for you to transition from, you are funny, okay? You are one of the most, and I say this publicly, one of the most comedic persons I have ever met in my life. You could have a person laughing, by, your jokes and then, the bodyguarding and the movies and all of that. I mean, what was it like realizing that you had to make that change and transition into a whole nother realm, a whole nother lifestyle?
It's ironic you said that because God allowed me to set up myself to become a minister, because one of the things with comedy is you don't really come into your own until you bomb. Every comedian is nervous, every comedian has issues, and no matter how funny you are, it's not until you bomb and you really, like I said, have to just come out and know that you're funny. So I knew I had a good sense of humor. There was always humor in my family. My grandmother especially always had jokes. And so, therefore, like I said, God just prepared me for each stage. So a lot of times after, like I said, when I started preaching, I had no problem being nervous, because from the acting, from, being on stage doing a comedy, I wasn't afraid to talk to an audience. But the difference was that the Word of God is more powerful than any, joke or things I had. And so, therefore, He just prepared me to be a minister.
Wow.
So, and doing security, I learned to deal with celebrities, and you have to carry yourself a certain way. And as a minister, I have to set the bar higher than what I would, than someone that's a regular just church parishioner. But as a minister, and an ambassador of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, I have to keep a certain standard.
Right.
If there's no sacrifice, then there's nothing. So the things I had to sacrifice was the urge to want to do comedy, the urge to want to be an actor.
Right.
And that was a living sacrifice. That's what God wants, a living
sacrifice.
So even the scripture, when they say, you have to hate your mother, your father, this and that. Well, what Jesus is saying was you have to love less and love Him more.
Right.
Because a lot of times that's what we fall short when we, put other things ahead of.
And you were headlining. You were out there with some of the top names in the business doing your comedy.
Well, yeah. When I started out twice. The first time, Jay Leno, Jimmy Walker.
Wow.
Shirley Hempel, and I was going to Comedy Store. I was going to Dangerfield. And then when I came back out again, I used to go to a place on Wednesday night, Hamburger Harry, and Tracy Morgan was there. He had to, sometimes I bought him hamburgers because he was struggling at that time.
Wow.
What's the one that did with the Eddie Murphy? Not Eddie Murphy and Prince thing. Can't think of his name.
Charlie Murphy.
Charlie Murphy, and also David Chappelle.
Oh, Dave Chappelle. Okay.
We were at the Comedy Store, and I used to sit with his girlfriend and when he first started out, David Chappelle and Charlie Murphy. So it was, like I said, it was an exciting time.
Wow.
It was an exciting time.
Now, what about some of the celebrities that you bodyguarded?
Well, Muhammad Ali was one. Did Prince one time.
The greatest. Wow.
Bon Jovi at the Supper Club, a private party. Matter of fact, Prince did a private show, and they gave me a call, and it was at the Supper Club, and I had a room there because I worked the shows Thursday, Fridays, and Saturdays. They used to have a
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So they would have that on Friday. So there was a concert in Jersey on a Saturday, and at 1 o'clock they called me and asked me would I come down, and they said they had an artist down there. And at that time, that's when Prince was going by the name of the artist. I had no idea who it was. And when we came down, it was Prince. And so
wow.
I was bodyguard for him there, and also when he came to a club, the Roxy. And so, Cher, Bette Midler, so Madonna. So, like I said, and what was it? Mariah Carey, when she was going with Derek Jeter, when I worked at Envy, I used to let them in the back door along with Wesley Snipes.
Wow.
So, like I said, and the thing about it was I never took pictures with them. I never asked for autographs. And like I said, nothing personal, just business. And that's why I got a lot of business, because I wasn't trying to, make a big deal out of being around them.
Right. Wow.
So that's why I got a lot of the jobs that I did.
Wow. And then then the movie credits, right?
Yeah, Carlito's Way, City Hall, and like I said, I was actually just hired to be a bodyguard for Chino that night, because most of the scenes that he shot on the subway were done at 12 midnight, and we worked at 6 in the morning. And so, I was just supposed to be there, but then he saw me and just told me, like, well, just stand right here, this and that. And then I did the same thing in a movie called City Hall that Al Pacino was in. And that one was mixed emotion, because they were doing Bronx Tales at the same time. So, but I came because I knew Al Pacino. And Cowboys Way, that's when I met Willie Hollis. So, like I said, it was really interesting.
Wow, so all of that, and you're in the prime of your life, and you're like, oh wow, I'm on the road, and I'm, doing all of these things, and on the way up, and then you get a internal wake up call, and all of a sudden your life is changed forever.
Trust me, it was, like I said, unbelievable.
Wow.
So, like I said, the one thing about God, when he does stuff in your life, he lets you know that it's him. You don't give anybody else the credit.
Absolutely.
And he always meets you at your point of need. And I was telling somebody before, when we were in a Bible study, that the 3 Hebrew boys didn't need God before they went in the fire, as far as the help. But they believed before they went into the fire, and then what happened when they got in the fire? Who was in there?
He was.
He was right there.
There was a fourth man.
The
Yes.
people that threw that man got burnt up, because they made the fire 7 times higher, which is a number of God. They got burnt on the outside. They threw them on the inside. And if we all reflect on some of the days, or from people we knew when we were going to the club, if you walked to a club, you would come out smelling like smoke.
Oh, yeah.
The only thing that got burnt off were the ropes that were around their feet and hands. The uniforms weren't burnt.
Wow.
They didn't smell like smoke. And I used to remember I have a great-grandmother who was a hairdresser, and if you even burn the back of your hair when you were a drink,
Right, that smell of that straightening comb hair.
They said no trace of smoke at all. So
Wow.
there was no doubt about who did it.
Absolutely.
And Moses, when he got to the Red Sea, like there was no way for him to go, humanly possible, no way for him to get away. And he had close to 1 million people with him when they were leaving.
Exactly.
And what happened? God stepped in at the point of need, and boom.
That's why sometimes I can't understand, how people can have that mindset of not believing. Because there's things in our lives that only God can do for us, and and change